Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make the first million in sales? And today we're gonna talk about the foundation of marketing and why without that it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna take you a long time for you to make 1 million. Today we have an expert in this area joining us. So Callum, tell the audience where are you from and the name of your company.
Hello, thanks Harry for having me on board. My name is Callum Armstrong. I live currently in Rotorua in a small town in New Zealand, down in the bottom of the world. So I apologize in advance for my funny accent. And my company's called Paste and Publish. We help companies to level up their B2B growth so that they can bring their dreams to life. I really believe that business is a vehicle to bring your dreams to life, and marketing is one of those tools, but it's not the only tool. And sometimes people invest in marketing way too soon. And so I'm really excited to chat with you today about the foundations you need in place before you get into marketing, and then some thoughts about how to go about your marketing to make sure that it's effective.
Okay, Callum, so what message do you have for the entrepreneurs out there that they don't take sales and marketing seriously without understanding that that having a good product is only 20% of the equation? If you don't have the 80% in marketing and sales, you're not gonna go far in business. And also, when things go wrong in the organization, the first thing that everybody does is to cut the budget in marketing and in sales without knowing that cutting that budget, you're taking the company to collapse. So what message do you have for those entrepreneurs?
Well, where does your new customers come from? And what's keeping your existing customers around? And what's growing their lifetime value? How much are they spending over their lives? If you cut your marketing and sales, it's like turning that tap off. You might keep running, you can cut your costs, but eventually you're going to lose the water that's in your bathtub, so to speak. One of my early mentors kept hammering into me that the amount of people he saw in his 50 plus years of business that would the CEO would be really worried about a salesperson potentially earning more than them, that they would limit the opportunities of the salesperson, was phenomenal. At the end of the day, if someone performs marketing or sales wise and they bring you customers, great, reward it. If it doesn't work, you should look to change it, because ultimately, if you want to grow your business, you're going to need it. And turning it off is just putting your success a few years down the road, or however long that is.
Excellent, Callum. So, Callum, tell us your story. Why do you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, great question. I started with my first company back in early 2018. It was a business called Manuka Essentials. I grew up in a business family. Dad had businesses, and so I was always around it. But my heart is in the environment and helping our ecology, our biodiversity to thrive. I was I was backpacking around Asia doing the typical OE, and I stumbled across some research papers in looking at a plant called Manuka. You might have heard of Manuka honey, but I was
Yes,
looking at
definitely.
the oil. I realized that this essential oil that comes from the leaves instead of the nectar from the flowers has these crazy benefits. I started researching. I found that native plants of all different kinds here in New Zealand have all these health benefits and medicinal properties and foods and all these great things. And I thought, what if we could have, what if we could make it profitable for landowners to plant native forest on their land and have the right foundations for our nature to thrive? So I flew back. I knew nothing about business at this point. I started a skincare company called Manuka Essentials. I sold that last year, so not involved in it anymore. But we basically made a whole range of skin oils, bed oils, skincare products, bulk native plant extracts for other companies to make products, with the goal that we would create this demand for these native plants. That one thing led to another. Throughout that time, I was doing marketing, contracting, freelancing, consulting to pay my bills as I built this business. And people kept asking me to build a marketing agency, and I had no interest in it. limited my hours that I was doing for people so that I could focus on my main business, Manuka Essentials. And lockdown hit. My skincare business was not essential, so we had to close. Yeah, the revenues picked back up later, but I was in a bit of a pickle. And one of my long-term clients said, "Hey, we are a tech company. We're A2X. We are supporting the e-commerce boom. We're going global. Can you build an agency? We'll give you a lucrative six-figure contract. We will give it to you exclusively, and we want
Wow.
you to build a team." At the same time,
Wow.
I had a few other clients that asked me for an agency, and I had a few friends that used to run an agency and they wanted to work for me. I thought, oh, this has kind of fell on my lap. I better do it. So I built this agency, went on to open up a retail shop for another company and did a few other things, built a charity called the Reforestation Fund, got really busy actually. And throughout the next few years, I realized that we got these fantastic results for our clients, like, 10x traffic to hundreds of thousands of people a year coming in, countless leads, all these great results, but I wasn't happy. Um, I was, yeah, I was working too hard. I wasn't the agency model wasn't really where I wanted to show up. And I found that I actually got a lot more satisfaction out of helping my clients with strategies. Sometimes I do it for free just because I wanted to give them a strategy. And I got so much satisfaction out of coaching my team and helping them to level up. So I realized maybe I should become a coach. So I pivoted to becoming a marketing coach, which is what we do now, coaching and consulting around strategy and building your teams and putting all those processes I developed in my business in place for other companies focused around B2B services. So that was how I got into that. Our charity, we're actually about to rebrand it. We're actually about to refocus it to Conservation Amplified. So in the next week or two, at the time of this recording, we will be launching our new charity. And the
Wow.
idea is that we don't have the right foundations. Coming back to foundations, we don't have the right foundations in place in our culture to help our nature to thrive, our environment to thrive. And I was so focused on getting people to buy stuff to give money to nature. And I found that that was all well and good, but if you don't actually understand what's going on in nature and what people are doing to help nature, it's really hard to have that connection and see the priority. So we decided, let's just focus on creating content and building a movement. So we're about to launch a podcast. We've got some really heavy hitting
Wow.
local conservation people.
Fellow
And yeah,
podcaster.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we
I would
also run
love to
a
be. I would
newsletter.
love to
So
be there. Yeah, Callum. Yeah, because it's about social responsibility as well, right? We sometimes we open a business. I just opened a community interest company here in London as well. So I understand 100% what you're sharing, right? That there is all some the side of the business have to be parallel with the social responsibility and the responsibility that we have with the community in whatever we do, right? So I think I'm in the coaching business also. We train a business how to grow, and then we find partners like you that is somebody need a marketing expert or whatever, then we point it to you, and we have a solid network in different verticals of business
awesome.
growth. So the whole point is that saying that we open a company, community interest company, where we can help teenagers to start the business, to grow the business, and um, and to make it in sustainable way, and also with the social responsibility. We find out that it's a great tool for marketing actually, and companies don't know they're spending millions in
Hmm.
TV advertising, and they don't understand that if you do social responsibility and you look after the environment and you donate to charity, you're gonna have your customer acquisition going to be lower, and you don't need to spend all this money in the TV and advertising. But anyway, that's
Yeah, yeah. Just on that note, I want to add because there are companies that genuinely care and they genuinely want to do good. I can see that you're one of those people, and I certainly am. I'm probably an outlier because I got into business for the wrong reasons. Apparently, you're meant to make money, but 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 I do see companies that want to give to charity and they want to do social good, but only because there's a return on investment. And I would say a lot of huge companies do this. Make sure that it comes from the right intention. It's okay to say this is going to make us money. This is going to get us more customers. It's going to lower our acquisition cost. It's going to increase our staff retention and maybe mean we can pay lower salaries and get the same output because our staff are happy. Whatever the financial reason is, but make sure it comes from the right core, because people see through greenwashing. And if
Of
you're called
course,
out as someone that's
100%.
not legitimate, you're gonna lose so much more than you would have gained from not doing anything in the first place.
I
Like, it's
agree
okay just to make
100%.
profit, but
I agree
yeah,
100%, Callum, what you're saying, because that's the other thing that we need to touch base in this, that the consumer is getting really savvy. The
yeah,
consumer, they know, they will find out. This is not the time of this is no the consumers of the product that they are now, the teenagers that they are now. It's not like when we were teenagers. Completely different book game. They have the phone, they find information very quickly, and they can smell it, because at the end of the day, this is the planet that they gonna live. You know what I
mm,
mean? So this is the planet that they're gonna live. So they are very conscious and very savvy in terms of the products that they buy. So on our side, yeah, encourage everyone to do social responsibility and to do sustainable business, right? So now tell us, Callum, what is the jump from, so because I understand, because on our end we have several businesses, right? And um, sometimes you do the business for the money. Like for example, my business that was in property, we sold over 5 million. I did it for the money, yeah. I did it for the money. I needed money. Somebody told me you can make a lot of money in property, and there I was, right? However, today I had my podcast. We had our speakers and leaders organization. I love the speaking around the world. I love coach businesses to grow, right? So this is like kind of my passion, like
yeah, yeah,
and eventually you when you are in the entrepreneur world, sometimes it's not your first business what you really wanted, yeah. I think I'm in the same boat like you. We have businesses with a lot of operation, right? It's a little bit tiring, yeah, to deal with so many staff and so many and large amount of clients and this and that. So you start to find a way, okay, what type of life I want to live and what kind of business I want to have. Because at the end, after you have one or two or three businesses, you will find out very quickly what you want, what you don't want, and you also can design your lifestyle around that business. So tell us about this journey, how you end up from a direct to consumer product, which it was the products for the oil for the hand, to actually become a coach and a consultant in B2B, which is from left to right. What
yeah.
happened?
That's a really good question. Yeah, there's a lot of water that went under the bridge. And I think I I'd like to answer that, but just to say on that, in case anyone's wondering, my business is just to make money. I just invest in property, and there's no trying to make the world a better place for it. That's perfectly fine. Business can be a vehicle just to make you money and to let you do what you want with your life. It's bringing your dreams to life. It doesn't have to be all about social good and giving back. Um, I think to explain how I transitioned from B2C products designed for end users that are wanting to, and trying to build giving into the supply chain, to a B2B service coaching that is all about making profit, was that I realized that I found it was better to separate out the business and the charitable activities. Some people would come to me and say, "Oh, you're just greenwashing by wanting to support native products." That, what, and I felt a bit weird saying, "Buy my product and give me this margin, and you're helping the environment," when really like 90% of the benefits coming to me. That's fine, that's perfectly okay, but it wasn't my approach. So I decided, let's have a business where I can do a really good job for clients. I can make good money and make them good money and excellent service. And let's have a charity where we help the environment. And there's a little bit of crossover in the middle. There are clients that I have who are environmental charities who I might do it for like 30% of my normal rate. There are clients who are charities that I do it for free. There are clients that are charities that I pay my contractors and my team to do work for them for nothing, because I care about them and I believe in their vision, and they might be protecting a species, and I really get along well with the owners, or the trustees of that charity. So I'll help them. But yeah, I think just realizing that I was trying to lump my whole life into my business, and my business became my whole life. And I thought, well, actually, we need a bit of boundary setting here. So my coaching is about coaching. My charity is about, our charity. It's with my partner Anna Finch. Our charity is about charity, and my life is about my life. And I haven't got that balance quite right yet. I think a lot of business owners will claim that they do, but really, you're still up at night thinking about your business, or something that went on. But we're trying, you know.
Wow. And then kind of, because honestly, if an startup, right, can manage the right strategy to bring more B2B to the business, it's a fantastic way to grow the company, right? So tell us a little bit more about how you work with your clients. When your clients come, let's say that I have a startup, I have a tech startup, I don't have so much credibility, but I need my product is only B2B mainly, and this is my client. And how gonna get a client to pay me 100,000, to pay me 200,000, if what I have is just the startup, and we are 6 people in the team, very passionate about it. We can do the job, but these people don't believe us to spend 200,000. This B2B strategy, they don't believe us to pay 200,000 on us. So how can we build that out? How you will coach this type of company?
So there is a bit of context dependent here. It depends what you're offering, who you're offering it to, and how established you are. Is this something you just started, and you're new to it? Did you buy an online course and decide that you'll be a marketing consultant, or an AI guru? Or have you worked in this industry for years? You've got a network and you've got connections, and you're simply going out on your own. There's a lot of foundational questions there, but I think to answer it, how would I go about getting credibility? If you've got existing customers that are really happy, ask
Yeah,
them
the
if you can do a
company,
case study.
Callum, imagine that the company, let's say the company White Ball, yeah, the company White Ball this developed this product, which is a white ball, and
Yeah.
now they want to sell this ball B2B, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They want to set this ball B2B, but they don't have enough credibility. And they know that the ball is good that they produce, but they don't have enough credibility, and they don't know how to enter the B2B world. So how you coach these entrepreneurs that
I
have a
get you now.
product?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about B2B services, who we focus on. We do a bit with B2B products. What I would say is, can you get a single customer? Can you make it an absolute no-brainer for them? Make it completely risk-free. Look, you can put it on consignment, or you can sell it with a really solid money back guarantee, give them good margins. You might even say, hey, we're going to make these margins a bit higher until we're established, and then the margins are going to go down, but we expect you to promote it. Get the relationship with the right person. Look, one client in a B2B product business is not necessarily the same as another client. You can have one client that does $1 million, or you can do 100 clients that do $50,000. Find the relationship. Ideally, find someone who already has trust with the market. Let's say, for example, when we had the Manuka Essentials, our best-selling product was beard oil, as you can see, um, and basically it nourishes your beard. So we went to barbers and hairdressers, and we sold it to them. Now, I could go into a barber who was the cheapest on the block, who just turned around 5 customers every hour, and they didn't do a good job, but people came for a quick, cheap job. And when I tried to develop relationships with people like them, they weren't the right fit. So I could sell them the product. They'd be upset because it's not selling through, because they're not talking about it, because they say, "Oh, I've got a cheaper one over here." On the other hand, I had someone in Brisbane, and he was from the same town as me, where my product was made. And he believed in quality. He believed in native plants. He was, an expat in another country. He did high quality service, and he said, get the right stuff. And so that one relationship, he sold so much more than almost people that were 10 times his size. He sold more because every customer, he would put it on them. He would say, try this out, recommend it, refer it, promote it. If anything went wrong, I would be right on that case to fix it. And so if you're coming back to a B2B, you're wanting to break into the B2B market, try to find someone that aligns with your values, that has your audience. Like, think about, are they serving your audience, or are they serving an audience like yours? Because the more narrow you can get on exactly who your ideal customer is, the better. And then remember that once they get results, you can then leverage that. You can use that as a case study or a testimonial, and you can take that to other people in their situation. If you're just getting started, and this is a low value, $40, $50 ticket item. So it'd be a lot different to if you're selling a machinery like a truck. But I think that's a good place to start is don't try and get 100 customers tomorrow. Just try and get one, learn from them, learn what they need, listen to their feedback, and then adapt based on that. And I can tell you other stuff, but the customer's the one that knows.
So Callum, but some people will say that it takes the same effort to go and to the barber shop to offer the product to this barber shop owner that take the same effort to find a franchise with 100 barber shop and do the
Yeah.
same operation B2B. If this is really true, that is the same effort, or a lot goes into the equation before you have certain foundation to approach a B2B, right?
I mean, you
Like
can
the
go to a
owner of
franchise
the
with,
barber shop, for example. So
yeah, go
it's
to,
as easy as it seems.
yeah, go to the barbershop with 100, a franchise with 100 barbershops, but make sure that they're the right type of audience for
Same
you. Because
approach. I understand
if the
100% now what
barbers
you're
that are
saying.
on the ground aren't recommending that product and the people aren't actually behind you, you can have 100 and it doesn't matter. But if they're the right people and they're getting behind it and you're educating them and that they're buying what you're selling, great.
Okay.
But focus on the
Okay, let me
qualitative
ask you the
before the
question
numbers.
then. So, Callum, what would you say if tomorrow you had the owner of 100 barber shops here in front of you and you need to offer your product? It's B2B and you know that's going to make a huge difference. Yeah, you still have your startup, you have your product, you're selling few barber shops, you hairdressers, but now you have in front of you the owner of 100 barber shops. So,
Well,
what would be your communication with him?
so the essence of what I would say is this. Your customers, some of your customers have beds, and as you know, beds are a are a germ magnet. You touch doors, you shake hands, you handle money, you pick up, you rub your bed, you embrace your children, your wife, your husband, and then you pass these germs into your home. What's that worth? Manuka oil in our bed oil is going to
Wow.
kill all those germs. It's going to kill MRSA. It's going to kill herpes type 1, type 2. It smells amazing. It's got a great story, and it helps to bring native forest back to the country. I'm sure you've got great bed oils, but do you want to tell that story in your barbershops?
Wow. I'm 100% that the guy will buy into
Yeah.
this. 100% guarantee, yeah. So in the end of the day, Carlos, is to have clarity, what's your product, have your pitch ready, and have the foundation, have that training. Because I don't think
Yeah.
that some lots of entrepreneurs that I talk out there, they don't talk like you for about the
But
product. They will shake when he finds someone that have 100 barbershop and they know that if they hit this contract, it would be very good for them. But I don't see them speaking with this confidence, with this clarity, with the about the products. So
yeah,
what's the message you have for those entrepreneurs?
I'll tell you what. Everyone gets nervous when I was talking to a distributor that had thousands of barbershops and hairdressers. I was shaking physically. Luckily, they were
Wow,
really nice people. I was nervous before getting on this call. Every single podcast, I'm nervous for. Every sales
you're
call, I'm
doing
nervous for. But
amazing.
I'll go through anyway. And the other thing is, I had a polished pitch to you just then, but that's after hundreds of times saying this. I had 70 different iterations over 12 months of my product to get it there. I spoke to dozens of testers, friends, family, colleagues, hairdressers, barbers, listened to their feedback, spent thousands of dollars on it, designs, um, criticisms, complaints to get to what I'm telling you now. So if you're at the start of your journey, I think we like to just jump straight to the results. And if you get to those results and you make $1 million on your first try, good on you. High five. Like, let me know when you're in town. I'll buy you a drink. But most times it doesn't happen that way. I think one thing I've learned over the years is expect to fail miserably, and anything better than that is a win. And if you can have that mindset that the world doesn't owe you anything, if you stuff this up, you can go back to that person tomorrow as long as you don't burn the bridge. If you do burn the bridge, which isn't ideal, you can go to the next person. But if you learn, it's worth it. Um, I started in my sales, well, in my professional sales career after I finished my marketing degree. I started selling carpets, floor coverings around New Zealand. I was tasked with calling on all the retail shops. We had a few hundred in our network that we serviced, and the other people in the business would do the commercial contracts. It was my dad's company. And I was so scared. I kid you not, for 2.5 years, probably the first 18 to 24 months, I would be shaking before going in there. I would freeze up. I would have panic attacks. I probably wasn't the best employee, to be fair. But, you see I'm confident now. Know that there's so much failure behind that. And if you're not embracing failure, then I'd ask you, are you really invested in becoming a successful entrepreneur?
Exactly. And then Callum, the now this is the question that everybody's waiting for you to hear your answer. What are the 5 steps
Drum
that
roll.
every entrepreneur out there should be doing to achieve the first million in sales?
All right. So, uh, I'm going to talk to this in terms of a B2B service business, so a company
Mm-hmm.
solving problems for other companies, because that's really where I'm focused. But the first steps are this: start by understanding who your ideal no start by understanding why you're doing this in the first place. There's a lot of hassle that comes with business. Why are you taking on this hassle? Is it for freedom? Is it for status? Is it for growth? Is it for wealth? Is it for passing something on to the next generation? And why are your customers buying from you? In the B2B space, we don't buy just because we feel like having something. We usually do it because we're solving a problem, and it's a problem that's going to reduce hassle or bring in return on investment in some way. So what is the real pain point that your customers are facing, and who are they? Who are your best customers? Ask these questions, understand them. Talk to your customers. If you aren't already serving them, then interview them. I have a really good customer interview toolkit. It's completely free. It's just a Google Doc. I'll give you the link if you want to share it.
Yes,
And
definitely.
that's got all the template of all the questions and tips and guidelines how to do these interviews. But just talk to your customers, make them an offer, serve them. Just focus on doing a really good job as the first, well, that's the second stage. So you do a really good job, you keep your customers happy, you keep them around, you adapt what you're doing based on what they need. Um, as you get better results for your customers, however that looks for your business, you can then say, hey, what are the other offers we need? What is the pathway to turn this from an initial client, initial project, whatever that looks like, into a long-term relationship? Next up is, now that you've got that, go out and get consistent sales. This can be through manual methods like outbound sales, networking, um, looking after your existing customers so they refer you to people. But before doing all this digital marketing, because there is time and investment and money and a longer pathway than just contacting the lead, get that working, get that predictable. There's many ways to do that. And then once you've got consistent sales, make sure that you're ready to take on significantly more clients. Make make sure that you have enough team to serve people. Make sure you've got the processes, the systems in place. And then let's talk about marketing as the next step. So people usually jump to marketing. They post on LinkedIn, they get on podcasts, they do run ads, whatever that looks like for them when they don't have the foundations and they're building on shaky ground. So that's it. I'm happy to talk about the 4 steps to getting your marketing working if you like.
And what would be the fifth step, the last one?
Oh, the 5th step is the marketing.
Ah, the
So
marketing. Ah, okay.
investing in your marketing. But
Okay.
when you do your marketing, there's generally, I like to think of it like going fishing. Do you like fishing, Harry?
Yeah. I love it. You have to be
Okay.
patient.
Yeah. So when you go fishing, you need to know what you're catching. You need the right equipment. Once you know what you're catching, the right rod or net, the right bait, the right place at the right time to catch those fish. Then you want to go out and go fishing, throw your net or your line into the water, test different things, talk to the other fisherman down the road, and try and take his secret spot. And then you learn and double down on what works. And based on what you learn from trying your fishing, you then improve. It's the same with marketing. You know your customers, but just confirm that what you're actually offering is what you want to grow, and set up the right foundations, put the right things in place is the second step. So just like you would get a fishing rod with the right bait if you were fishing. And when you do your marketing, that is things like having a website that speaks to your ideal customers, having the right social channels, analytics, and tracking to look at your results. If you're outsourcing it, finding the right agencies, making sure that you've got someone in your team to actually manage that. If you've got a marketer, making sure that you know their gaps so that you can invest in that. Then go out and promote, do your marketing. Try not to do too much at once. Try to get one thing working before adding to the next, because you're going to learn, things are going to work, things are not going to work, and you want to refine and then improve. And then, there's a whole entire world of what to do after that. But ultimately, you want to get traction on something simple with the right foundations, because if you have the right foundations in place and you know what's working or not working and why, you can change. If you don't have that, you're just shooting in the dark and hoping.
Callum, and tell us a little bit more which industry you guys specialize. Do you specialize in the B2B for tech company, tech startup? Do you specialize in the B2B for people that have physical products that want to take them to market? Or is a little bit so what type of companies or industry you specialize that you can help them more in the B2B side of it?
So I typically go to professional service providers. I've done a little bit with technology applications, software as a service.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few clients that do B2B products, but I'm moving away from that. What I like to think is, are you solving a really clear problem for your B2B customers? If you're solving a really clear problem, then those people are going to be searching on Google for that answers to that problem. They're going to be following people on LinkedIn that have answers to it. They're going to be listening to podcasts that talk about the solution. So is there a really clear problem? For example, an accountant helps you to pay less tax and get your accounts filed on time. A bookkeeper is going to make sure that your financial systems are set up and in place. A web designer is making your brand look better. A lawyer, an IP lawyer, is getting your trademarks and patents. So really clear problem to solve. And that can be, however that looks is fine. It doesn't matter how you solve that problem, but it has to be for the customer obvious. I think that's the main thing. And typically I can help smaller businesses, but it's usually when they do have that predictable sales coming in. They've got consistent sales, they have happy customers, they have the capacity to grow, and they want to scale up. And they might not have a marketing person in place, and they want to hire someone and grow it, or they might have just a single marketing person, but they're a bit of a lone ranger. They don't have if they do work, they can't give it to the head of marketing to review. The business owner's too busy and maybe might not know about marketing, and they need someone to help them to really turn that from a little seed into a big tree in their business.
Okay, tell us about the biggest challenge that you have in business, how you overcome that challenge.
The biggest challenge I have in business, and how would I overcome it? Ooh,
I mean, in
I think
business,
not
we have
putting,
lots of challenges. Yeah, you
yeah,
might mention thousands. Yeah, just pick one, your favorite, and how you overcome that.
I think not biting off more than I can chew is the hardest part. So I get really
Yeah.
passionate, and then I take on way too many things, and it's not a good idea. And I made this mistake so many times. So I overcome it in some ways. I have a I have
Yeah, but it's in the nature because you think that you can do more until you find out that, oh my
exactly.
God, I don't have time to sleep, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then you need to pull rabbits out of a hat just to stay afloat. So I love how I overcome that is through prioritizing ruthlessly. So every I've got cadences of things that are needed to be done on repeat every day, week, month, quarter, year. I have obviously the annual plans and goals and visions, but breaking that down, I have a 30, 60, 90-day plan. So I take the top things at any point that are the most painful to solve or the biggest opportunities to grow. I rank them based on what's actually most pressing, and then really focus on this. I do this probably every week or so. And then I find the top one priority and obviously the ones that come after that. I then break that down into the actions that are needed, and I put that into my daily activities on top of all the other commitments. And then I push through those. And then once every day, probably multiple times, I reprioritize what I need to do in that day. And then once I've finished that top one priority, instead of moving on to priority two, I go back to the list of 30, 60, 90-day plan, and I reprioritize and I say, well, now that the situation's changed because I've done that main thing, what actually matters right now? I think we get caught into there's a 5-year plan and we're at year 3 of the plan we made 3 years ago. And it's really important to shift to right in this moment what matters and then adapting. That's how I avoid taking too much stuff on. Um, but then I've got a huge icebox of things I'd love to do one day.
Okay, and the last question. Yeah, I designed this ball, and this ball is amazing to release the stress. It's the best ball in the market to release the stress. I have an startup. I studied the element about this ball, and it's amazing to release stress. But now I'm stuck. I need to reach all the B2B clients out there so I can sell my product. So then, Callum, how people that have a nice product like my one, how they can contact you, how the process works, and how can you help them?
Yeah, so you can go to pasteandpublish.com
Uh-huh.
and my info's there. I do offer a free B2B growth diagnosis. It's free
Very
for
good.
now. I'll probably charge for it later, but basically you jump on a 20 to 30-minute phone call. I ask you a series of questions and I can tell you exactly where you should focus. If we are a good fit to work together, I can provide coaching, but that comes after saying, hey, what do you actually need? I'm also quite active on LinkedIn, so happy to have a chat on there if you just want to, talk some stuff. But yeah, and happy to help. And if you want to just know where to get started, you can ask 1,000,001 consultants, but talk to your customers. And I'll leave you the link for our interview toolkit. But yeah, if you're at that stage where you're ready to grow and scale up, then let's have a chat.
That's fantastic, Callum. And on that note, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the valuable tips. I
Thank you.
think that what we were talking before the podcast, right? In order for you to hit this million and even the $10 million mark, that foundation is very clearly. I love the analogy. Like you said, if you like to fish, you need to have the right equipment depending of the fish you want to catch, right? The same
Hmm.
thing is with the B2B. Is it seems for some entrepreneurs that we work with impossible, but it's not about that it's impossible. It's about exactly what Callum shared with us about to have the right infrastructure, the right structure, so you can hatch, you can catch this big fish. Yes, let's face it. Yeah, a B2B client is like a shark. It's like a whale. It's a good client because they have affordability. Doesn't matter. They my own and number of franchises. The contract can be more lucrative. Yeah, is
Yeah.
the B2C. You need to go one by one, and then you need bigger team to acquire the customers, and then you need a huge social media team in order to grow a B2C business, right? Which B2C means business to consumer. But when you develop a vertical in your business, the B2B, business to business, as long as you catch this shark, and if you have few of them, you're not gonna hit 1 million. You can hit easy 1 to 10 million, right, Callum?
Absolutely. And I think that's a good way of putting it. I would also just add two things. Firstly, as you grow, as you progress, whether you're growing upwards or sideways, there's always a tendency to get more complex, to bolt more stuff onto your machine. And I think it's really important to have a cleanup function where every single time you think about a decision, you think, how do we make this simple? How do I simplify? What
Tell me
can I
about
cut? Yeah. You just have too much going on otherwise. And
it.
then, yeah. Secondly, is like you said, you need less customers in B2B to hit the same numbers or the same amount of customers and you're way bigger. So that comes to a concept called lifetime value of your customer. It's a lot easier to increase the amount that someone spends over their lifetime than it is to get another customer. If I have a customer that's spending, say, $5,000 a month with me and they're making 15,000 and I say I'm giving you 100 leads a month, but you're only able to take phone calls with 50, do you want me to build your sales team? I can increase the spend with them from five to $10,000 and maybe keep them around for another year. So now I've doubled or tripled the lifetime value. So I didn't need to actually get 3 times more customers. I just needed to do more for my existing customer. And then every new customer, I have that triple lifetime value. So I need even less customers to hit even larger numbers. So look after your people and remember that we're talking about a key account game, a relationship game. We're not talking about buy my trinket and I'll run this ad to 10,000 other people today.
Brilliant. Wow, I love this last message. And on that note, thank you so much, Callum from New Zealand. We need more people from New Zealand. So if you
Thank
have
you.
more friends to join our podcast from New Zealand, we need
Yeah,
entrepreneurs
sure.
out there. We did have one few interviews from people from Australia also.
Oh, cool.
And yeah. And I still from Europe and from United States, we have a lot. So thank you so much. And thank you so much to raise awareness to our audience about marketing and sales. We always say that this is the backbone of the business, and this is something that when you master marketing and sales, or when you have a service and you have the right team that take care about the marketing and sales for you, this is the only moment, in my opinion, that the entrepreneur can be actually free, because they can even disattach from the business and the business can run in autopilot. But that part is fundamental, that you have the system. That's why I like your background a lot. You know, it looks very good, like the system, the processes. Yeah, one of these processes click and they are all together. This thing runs in autopilot and gonna be the most beautiful day in your life, because this is the day that you will don't work in the business anymore. You will work on the business. We just look up and see the bigger idea and the bigger picture. Thank you so much, Callum.
Absolutely, thank you.
And please look at the description. We're gonna put all the details from him. So if you guys want to contact him, as you can see, he knows very well what he's talking about. Bye everyone for now. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.